All right, welcome into another day of our daily Devos in the Psalms. Pastor Rick here, and we are jumping into Psalm 29. We're just going to make quick work of it and just go for the gusto right off the bat. So, Psalm 29 on the screen here, and you can read it along with me. Ascribe to the Lord, you heavenly beings. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness. The voice of the Lord is above the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord above the vast water. Now let's pause there just for a moment to talk through that first section. Ascribe to the Lord, you heavenly beings. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness. Wow. So the word ascribe means to give credit to somebody or something for something that they already, a characteristic that they already have, something that they already possess. And so it's not creating something. It's not giving something to someone. It is really recognizing that the thing already exists. And so how or why does that matter? Why do I bring it up? Well, really because who is worship really doing the most for? When we worship God, does it make God more complete? Does it make him more holy? Does it do any of this? The answer to that question obviously is no. God doesn't need us. God doesn't need our worship. He doesn't need our adoration. He doesn't need us to ascribe anything to him. And so you have to kind of start thinking like, well, why is God so about him being worshiped, him being honored, him being glorified? Well, I think it's because he's so good. He tells us to do the things that are going to do us the most good, that are going to benefit us, help us grow, help us flourish. And us fixating our hearts, our vision, our sight on him is like the best thing we can do for ourselves. Because you become like the thing that you fixate on. You become like the thing that you worship. You go the direction that your eyes fixate on. So if you set your eyes on things above, set your heart on things above, not on things on the earth, because the Lord understands that what you set your heart on, what you set your focus on is going to be the thing that is going to change you. It's going to mold you. So does that mean worship is for us? Oh, absolutely not. Worship is for him, us to bring him all of the praise, adoration, and glory and honor that is due his name. It just happens to make us healthier and better and stronger. It's pretty amazing. So, and then why do we want to ascribe different things to his name? Well, because when you learn something new about the person that you're worshiping, the person that you're growing in relationship with, you want to bring that to the table. And also, the thing that you recognize in God is the part of God that you're going to become more like. If you worship a God who is generous, you're going to then naturally become more generous because you worship and honor and adore that particular facet of who he is. And so because you honor God because he's loving, you honor God because he's forgiving, you honor God because he's merciful, you honor God because he's gracious, then you're going to become more like all of these things. And that's why the fruit of the Spirit is love and joy and peace and patience and kindness, because God is all those things. And so as we spend time walking in the Spirit, we get to know him more. We become more like him because our heart is set on him. I'm so taken by this whole topic today. It's really got me going. Can you tell? So now let's move on. There is more to the chapter. It's not a very long chapter, so I won't hold you for too long. But the voice of the Lord is above the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord above the vast water. The waters just represented power and chaos. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you did not have any power and maybe your life was feeling a little bit chaotic? He's the Lord over those things. The voice of the Lord in power, the voice of the Lord in splendor, the voice of the Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon, shattered by the voice of the Lord. The voice of the Lord. He hasn't even lifted a finger yet, and he's able to do all these things. He makes Lebanon skip like a calf and Syrian like a young wild ox. Big mountain is what they're talking about here, and so they're talking like God is above even the biggest, most majestic thing you can think of. The voice of the Lord flashes flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord makes the deer give birth and strips the woodlands bare. In his temple, all cry glory. The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned, King forever. Man, focus on that today. If you are hurting, broken, frustrated, discouraged, spend some time in verse 10 today that the Lord sits enthroned over the flood. Again, those mighty rushing waters, the chaos, the power that's out of your control. And the Lord sits enthroned, King forever. That means there's nothing in the past, there's nothing in the present, and there's nothing in the future that's beyond him that's going to surprise him. He is the Lord enthroned, King forever. And because of all of these things, the Lord gives his people strength and blesses his people with peace. He doesn't even have to actively do it. He doesn't have to actually actively try to give you strength and actively try to give you peace, though he does. Honestly, he does. He's the God of peace. He gives us peace. But just because he is the Lord enthroned over the flood and the Lord enthroned King forever, that it gives his people peace and strength, because that's who he is. That's where he is, and that's his authority and his power. So there you have it. Great chapter today. I hope you get to spend some time in it. Journaling. We do a lot of memoing at work, and so that popped into my head there. Journal about it, and just talk to the Lord about how amazing he is. Ascribe to the Lord some glory and some honor and some majesty today, and think about the characteristics of God that you want to see more present in your life, and then let's honor God for those things and begin to see him impart those things into us. So with that, God bless you. Have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow.